Good morning, YouTube. It's your boy Rob out on the 2018 Honda Goldwing DCT. It's a beautiful morning here in South Texas. So I wanted to address something with regards to the Honda Goldwing. A question to you guys. Is the Honda Goldwing DCT truly worth the hype? Now, folks, some of you who've been with my channel for a minute have known that I've owned this Honda Goldwing for about 4 years. Bought it 4 years this month, back in 2019, from a dealership up in Dallas, Texas. And just wanted to give you my perspective on this motorcycle. Now, a little background. I've been riding for a little bit. I've got currently 2 other motorcycles, actually 3. I just bought a new motorcycle yesterday, and I'll have a video on that within the next week or so. But yeah, based on my perspective, I've had experience riding super naked bikes, adventure bikes. I've had this, like I said before, for 4 years, and I've had cruisers in the past as well. Well, a cruiser in the past. So I just want to give you my perspective, because I know there's a lot of talk with regards to the new style Honda Goldwing. You know, being that it's a DCT, being that it has a lot of tech, it may be overly tech according to some people, but like I said, I just want to give you my perspective. Now, back in 2018, before I ever ridden this bike, I was a doubter. I said, what kind of motorcycle is automatic? What kind of motorcycle doesn't require shifting of the gears? That's almost cheating. It's not right. It's not natural. So I carried this idea with me for a little while until I actually had the opportunity of test riding this bike during the fall of 2019. And I gotta tell you, I was blown away. I was blown away by the smoothness of the engine. I was blown away by the preciseness of the shifting. Now, I know there are a lot of other very good touring bikes out there. Harley Davidson makes quite a few. Indian. Yamaha does as well with their Venture. You know, most of those are V-twins, and I love V-twins. My cruiser, the Yamaha Striker, was a V-twin. I love the sound of that bike. Just loved how it felt. But this is a totally different bike. This bike is a 6-cylinder. Is mainly built for a different purpose. Yeah, long distance touring, but is very efficient, very quiet, and very smooth. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you with regards to that, but I know there are a lot of other options out there, but from my perspective, the transmission is very good. Haven't had any issues with it, and the engine is sound. Now, what I've used this bike for in the past has been for commuting. I've been on a couple of long distance trips with it. Not that far, maybe 600 miles a pop. I've done longer rides on my Super Tenere, but I did those on my Super Tenere before I actually bought this bike, so I just need to find some time to do some long distance touring on this bike. Some additional long distance touring, but this bike is awesome. I've ridden it from Biloxi, Mississippi straight without stopping to San Antonio, Texas, which is a pretty good haul on I-10, and it did pretty well. Now, in terms of the technology on this bike, I've got to hand it to Honda. I mean, what they've done in terms of innovating, trying to be at the cutting edge of motorcycle technology has to be commended. Now, I know when this bike first came out, there were a lot of naysayers with regards to the DCT, a lot of naysayers with regards to the amount of technology on this bike, and like anything, it can break. But over the past 4 years, I have not had any issues with the DCT, the engine, or the electronics on this bike. Now, some of the things that I love that I can adjust the windshield on the fly. Never had that, and it comes in handy. And I love the integration of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on this motorcycle. I don't have it on right now because it interferes with my motovlog setup, but when I do have it, I mean, it's extremely helpful. Usually I have the GPS on one side, my music on the other side. It's easy to go back and forth or hit some of the other apps. You know, audio, I can read audiobooks or listen to audiobooks, excuse me, or listen to some of my XM radio, favorite XM radio stations. It's awesome. So on those long trips, I've got something to entertain me besides, you know, just making sure I don't get hit. So that's awesome. The heated grips and a heated seat, man, they come in handy, especially this time of year. I love the integration of other components of this motorcycle as well. Like for instance, a very accurate ability to tell how many miles I have before I'm empty. Now, other bikes that I've had in the past and my current bikes, not very accurate at all, but this Honda Goldwing, in terms of giving me an idea of how many miles I have to go before I hit empty, yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome. The tire pressure sensor monitors, other bikes have this technology, but I love how Honda Goldwing did it. It's very accurate as well. Now, there are so many pluses with regards to the technology of this bike. And not only the technology, but the amount of research and development Honda put into this bike to make it what it is today. Now, some other items I want to highlight and give you my perspective on is the storage capacity. Now, for me, I usually go on trips solo. So to me, the storage on this bike is adequate. However, if you choose to go two up on a motorcycle trip on this bike, especially the 2018 and 19 and 20, you may want to relook at that or look at some other options. The 2022s and on up, I believe, have a larger trunk. They modified that on Honda Goldwing not too long ago, and that was one of the biggest complaints of many prospective buyers of this bike a few years ago, is the lack of luggage space on this motorcycle. But Honda listened, and they made adjustments. So for the newer Honda Goldwings, yeah, you've got plenty of space now. And if not, you can always buy a trailer to hook onto your bike and have a lot more space on it. But yeah, as far as the luggage, I mean, it works fine for me. I usually use one side case for my tools, the other one for like my rain gear and my cover, like if I'm on a trip, my bike cover, and my trunk for, you know, a small laptop and my clothes. And if I need to tie anything down to the bike, I can on the back seat. That's not an issue. So for me, it's plenty, but you know, other people may have other requirements in terms of luggage, but yeah, I've got absolutely no issue with the luggage capacity on this bike. Now, there are some folks who say the Honda Goldwing and other Hondas just don't have character, doesn't have a personality, doesn't have soul. And I get it. I mean, it's not like a Harley Davidson where you get that big, powerful V-twin sound and that rumble, that vibration. The Honda Goldwing is not that. So all I can say is just take it for what it is. It's a comfortable, tech-driven, smooth, efficient motorcycle for long distance travel. And that's basically what it is. But on the same token, you can customize this bike to make it more of what you want. I mean, you got some good YouTubers out there like Cruise Man, from Cruiseman Garage. He's got some outstanding videos of some of the modifications that he's made to his bike. It's 2018. If you haven't seen any of his videos, I recommend that you do. And there's also, I forgot that guy's name, in Tennessee, Chris Caliente. He's got some good videos as well in terms of modifying his Goldwing to what he wants. So, yeah, you can do whatever you want with any motorcycle. So to say that Honda has no soul, I mean, you just have to use your imagination and make it into what you want to make it into. That's all that is. Now, in terms of reliability, like I said, I've had this bike for 4 years. I have not had, knock on wood, a single issue with this motorcycle. It's been rock solid. You know, I've done all the required maintenance. I took it in for the first service, had a Honda dealership do that, but in terms of maintenance, I've handled most of it myself, except for changing out the tires a few months ago. But oil changes are extremely easy. You can just put it on a center stand and go. And if you have a low profile drain pan, yeah, you shouldn't have any issues with regards to changing the oil. The big job that I am not looking forward to is changing out the air filter. I heard that's a bitch to accomplish, and I heard it takes quite a lot of time because you got to remove all the panels and components and all that kind of thing just to get to the air filter. So I wish Honda would have done that differently, but it is what it is. And that's another issue that I have with the bike. It's hard to do a good inspection on the bike, a thorough inspection, because of all the panels that you would have to remove in order to get to it. But you know, it is what it is. The fairings on this bike make the motorcycle what it is, gives it that futuristic look. So it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off, but I don't have any big issue with that. In terms of riding on a long trip, you know, like I said before, I've got no issue with it. The seat, in my opinion, is the stock seat, in my opinion, is comfortable, but I know everybody is built differently. I'm a little guy, about 5'11", around 180, 185 pounds. But I know there's some bigger guys out there who love to have a better seat, a more comfortable seat. So there are options out there to make it a little bit more comfortable. And the one mod that I need to do on this bike is install some highway pegs. Yeah, a buddy of mine had asked me to do a couple of iron butt type rides in the next few months. So if I were to do that again, I would definitely want to install some highway pegs. Now, I did a Saddle Sore 1000 on my Super Tenere, and it was fine, but I got this bike, so why not use it and be comfortable doing it? But the wind protection on this bike for me is adequate. I know there are some riders out there who currently own or have owned the bigger bodied Honda Goldwing, and they prefer the bigger body because of the wind protection. So yeah, I understand that. And there's some things that you could do with this newer style Honda Goldwing to make it more wind friendly. I mean, there are deflectors that you can install on the bike to make it a little better with regards to that. But hey, you're riding a motorcycle, so wind comes with riding a motorcycle. So as long as it's not too much, then yeah, you should be good to go, in my opinion anyway. Now, in terms of how it looks, this kind of goes with the customization piece, but I think the bike looks pretty good. Of course, aesthetics is subjective. You know, some people think the Harley Davidson style motorcycles are the most beautiful, and I think they are very beautiful motorcycles. I love the Softail Deluxe. For whatever reason, I think that's an awesome looking bike. I love the Indian Bobber and Chief Dark Horse. I think they're beautiful as well. All Ducatis, or almost all Ducatis, are beautiful bikes. So aesthetics is subjective, and I think this Honda Goldwing is a very decent looking bike. It has that futuristic look, very sleek, very aerodynamic. So Like I said, I got no problem with the way it looks. I get compliments on it all the time. People come up to me at gas stations and just want to talk for 15 to 20 minutes about the Honda Goldwing. So it's an awesome bike. It's a good looking bike. Now back to the DCT part of the conversation. I mostly ride in sport mode, and heard a lot of feedback about the 2018 through like 2020, 2021 Honda Goldwings, that they are very jerky, especially in sport mode. Yeah, they are. The throttle is very sensitive, but all you have to do is just adjust your riding to accommodate the throttle sensitivity, and I've got no issue with it. It was jerky for me at the beginning, but now I know how to manipulate the throttle to make it a lot more smoother off the block. So it's no longer an issue to me. So the one thing that I absolutely do not like about this motorcycle, and is really the only thing that I feel this strongly about, is the emergency startup procedure. It sucks. It's so freaking complicated. It makes no sense at all. And just Google it or look at Cruise Man's video on the subject. It's just freaking ridiculous regarding all the steps that you have to do in order to start the bike in an emergency situation. Like if your key fob doesn't work. It is so much to it. It's got to be a simpler way. Honda needs to make a simpler way to get that done. But besides that, everything else with regards to bike, I absolutely enjoy. It's a very smooth bike. You just have to take it for what it is. And again, technology based, efficient, smooth, super reliable bike that a lot of people say has no character, but I think in its own way it does have character. So it doesn't really matter what you ride, just get out there and ride and enjoy. And this is for the manufacturers out there. Continue to innovate your motorcycles. Bring in young or new riders into the sport. A lot of us are aging out of the sport, so you really need to focus on the younger riders. Build and design innovative, fun motorcycles, and do it at a good price point for the 20-year-olds out there. They don't have $25,000 or $30,000 to spend on a motorcycle. We can't let this sport or this hobby die. We've got to keep it going. So don't just cater to us old heads. I'll be 57 soon, and I'll probably have another 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 years of riding, hopefully. But start really looking at the different demographics out there and bring them into the fold. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. You guys stay safe out there. Peace.